I work as the director's assistant, so I mostly run errands for him. Get his laundry, get his coffee, fill his canteen, take people on tours, stuff like that.
I see.
And she leads you through the main hall, through an exhibit called the bowels, and after a few minutes, you eventually come to this small little exhibit with the big bold letters, "The Scavenge," and it depicts the wall art depicts what looks like a floating city and just a war going on underneath it. And she goes, "This is the Scavenge exhibit," and she goes, "I believe the artifacts he donated are yes." And she points, and you see a small sphere. And she goes, "That is a cannonball fired from one of the cannons on the ground that the Scavenge had invented." And she goes, "And if I recall," she goes, yes." And then she points over to a small automaton. And she goes, "And that's the other thing he donated, a small robot that was developed before the city fell." And she kind of leans over and she unlocks the case and she gently picks up the robot and places it in. Who's going to take it?
I'll hold it.
All right. She gently places it in your hand.
No, don't give it to him.
Why? I won't do anything.
You have the wrist strength of a butterfly.
No, I can hold a robot. How big is it?
It's only like 12 inches tall.
Oh,
Goodness, it's fine.
How large
I
action?
watch carefully in case he drops it.
All right.
No, I'll hold it very still.
All right. And she goes, "Now, what were you looking for in particular?"
Just wanted to inspect it.
She was looking for oddities of sorts, I suppose, of the relics that Arthur Sin has donated.
She goes, "Well, we thoroughly vetted the donation before he received any compensation, but it is authentic. It is from the Scavenge era. We believe it to be some kind of children's toy, but it's
The robot?
The robot, yes, but it's similar in construction to some of the weapons of war they manufactured. So it is kind of an interesting thing to see them turn a weapon of war into a child's toy."
I want to telepathy try to talk to the thing. If there's anything even there.
You try and scan it. You try and telepathically talk to it. Nothing comes back.
Can I do an investigation check on it?
Make an investigation check.
Nat 20 plus 4, 24.
Wow.
Ooh.
All right. As you investigate it, you gently turn it over. You examine. You lift little flaps, move its arms gently. What are you looking for specifically?
Fingerprint.
Yeah.
Any kind of modifications that have been made to it in some way?
With the 24, it doesn't look like it's been modified. It looks like it may have just been pulled from the earth and immediately dusted off, cleaned, and sent to the museum. There doesn't seem to be any quick modifications or anything like that.
Okay. Is it powered by magic?
She goes, "Well, the war machines were, but the toys just seem to be models, just something to look like. You know how children like to play war."
Yes.
Thank you. And I'll put it back in its place.
And she goes, "Well, there's also the cannonball, but not much you can glean from that."
Yes.
And she kind of shuts the glass and locks it, and she says, "Is there anything else I can help you with?"
I think that's everything.
She goes, "Well, that's good."
Actually,
She goes,
question, do you know what the gentleman who runs the relics to you from Arthurson looks like?
She goes, "Well, it's always a delivery boy from a local courier service, so it's always someone different."
So which courier service is that?
I believe it's the Gilded Pigeon.
Ah, thank you so much.
Gilded pigeon.
Yes, like carrier pigeons.
Guess I'm gonna have to eat a bird.
All right.
Oh, God.
I think we're good. Thank
She
you
goes,
so
"Well."
much. I think we should head over to the Guild Pigeon and ask them some questions, guys.
She goes, well,
Pigeon.
if there's anything else, just talk to me or the director, but have a wonderful day. And she kind of quickly, fast walking back to her office.
You as well.
Okay, and we're going to take a quick break so I can get a drink. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right.
The Gilded Pigeon. What a name.
Not as good
The ghost.
as
What?
the Bureau of Better Business.
Yeah, the Bureau of Better Business. The Bureau of Better Business. Shit! I dropped a dice and I don't know where it went. The fuck is it? Ah, here you are. Found you. This fun.
Right, I'm back.
Okay.
Is everybody still here, or did somebody else leave?
Yep. Nope.
here.
No, we're good.
Okay, perfect. So, you guys finish off in the museum. She hurriedly heads back to her office. You guys are left in the scavenge section, just kind of to your own devices.
Hmm.
Did we want to try the flock first before we head to the Gilded Pigeon?
We could. We could do the flock first,
Let's go.
and then the Gilded Pigeon.
I mean, we can ask the flock about the Gilded Pigeon as well.
Oh, true.
Get
To
more
see if
info.
they do dealing. Like,
Yeah.
figure out if the Gilded Pigeon is like, we're a courier service, but we mainly do like shady business couriering.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
All right, let's head back to the flock.
All right. You guys head back to the night market through the rickety staircase on the edge of the city. At this point, you do look down and you see you're over what looks like a mountain range. High above the mountains at this point, cutting
Yes.
through the clouds. But eventually you do make your way back to the night market, and it is a middle of the day for them, so it is hustling and bustling, unlike when you arrived earlier in the morning, the last time. You find your way to the flock's little fake business. And
What's the natural girl or the natural? What was the
Yeah. Material Girl.
the material girl?
you do see, as you enter, there's maybe one or two people perusing the shelves. And you see the tiefling girl behind the counter. She kind of looks up and sees you. She just kind of rolls her eyes.
Darling, it's been, how long has it? I don't know. It's been forever, it feels. I have some business I'd like to attend to.
She just kind of smiles and says, "How can I help you?"
I had some questions I'd like to ask, if you don't mind.
She kind of nods and gestures over to this halfling girl, and she says, "Watch the shop. I have some business to conduct." And she heads back in the back, and she opens the flap and gestures you to follow.
Excellent.
As you enter, you see the elven woman kind of asleep in a chair, leaned back, and the tiefling girl kind of comes over and kicks her in the butt and says, "We have company." And she kind of startles awake and sees who you are, and again rolls her eyes.
Is there a chair to sit down in?
There's a couple chairs.
I'm going to sit down in a chair, and while I do, I'm going to, like, minor illusion, some, like, teacups and some, like, tea, like a teapot, and just kind of, like, making myself a cup of tea, and I'm going to cross my legs, and I'm going to be like, I have some tea I need to spill.
They kind of look to each other. They kind of scoot their chairs closer. One reaches out to grab the teapot, and their hand goes through it, and she just like, "What the? Oh, damn it!"
It's an elven brew. It's very light. We currently, me and my friends, my associates, we've currently been made aware of some rather striking information involving iron solutions.
They kind of look to each other and say, "We're listening."
Now, Was your your group, aware of who ran Iron Solutions?
They kind of look around. They kind of squint their eyes at you and say, "His name has never come up in our research, but then again, we haven't really done much. We try and we stay out of their hair, they stay out of ours."
If I were to say the name Arthur Sin, what does that mean to either of you two?
You see one of the tiefling girl's eyes go wide, and the elven girl kind of puts her hand gently on her knee and says, "I've never heard that name before in my life."
She lying to me?
Make an insight check.
I'm also gonna make an insight check.
Hold on. 23.
She is lying. She is lying.
Oh, I was screwed up on that.
You don't know who he is?
And they go, "The name is not familiar." Now, if
I will
that's-
take the tea saucer and kind of let it go into the air and place a little teacup on it, because it's not real. And I'll sit up. If I were to say the name... allow me to say this one more time. The individual's name is Arthur Sin. And when I say Arthur Sin, I will cast Zone of Truth in the room.
All right, do they make a save?
Yeah, so the way the spell works is you magically create a zone that guards against deception in a 15-foot radius sphere centered on a point of your choice within range. Until the spell ends, a creature that enters the spell for the first time on its turn or starts its turn must make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, a creature can't speak a deliberate lie while in the radius. You know whether or not the creature succeeds on it or fails on its saving throw. An affected creature is aware of the spell and can thus avoid answering questions to which would normally respond with a lie. Such a creature can be evasive in its answer as long as it remains within the boundaries of the truth.
All right, so what's the save I have to beat?
You gotta beat a 15 charisma.
All right. They both kind of look to each other as you... Are they aware of the spell being cast?
Yes, they are
Okay.
aware that the spell is present. And I'm also aware whether or not they succeeded or failed.
They both failed.
Ah, okay. Ladies, please. I mean no ill will. We just have to talk to this individual. And it would be a lot easier if you could just tell us who this is.
You see the elf girl kind of sigh, and she just waves her hand in the air, and the tiefling immediately begins just rambling on, just saying, "Well, Arthur Sin is a very powerful man.
Uh-huh. Yes.
He's on the council to the city.
Oh, of course he is. Of course.
He lives in the richer part of the districts.
Of course he does.
What is his reputation among the people? Do they love him? Do they not really know who he is? Do
The
they hate
people...
him?
He only moved here maybe 50 years ago, and for an elf, that's not a long time.
Oh, he's an elf.
Yes, he's close to his 700s.
That's cute.
And she says, but ever since he moved here, he's been a very well-respected member of the community. He's a pillar, if you will.
Oh, those are the best to knock down.
She goes, the elf girl kind of stops the tiefling girl and says, "Why do you ask about Arthur Sin?"
He's in charge of Iron Solutions.
The tiefling
He's
girl
also
kind of...
running a hustle.
Tiefling girl jumps up from her chair and says, "I fucking knew it!" And the elf girl kind of like calms her down.
Question:
I
Do
would
you
have
know about the Gilded Pigeon? What do you know about
yes.
Yep, they're just a run-of-the-mill courier service. One of the bigger
they?
ones in the city.
that? Who runs them?
I'm not familiar with the man who owns it, but it's just run-of-the-mill courier service.
It's a pigeon in a human suit.
Yes, exactly. All right.
Yes.
It's odd. He only gets paid in bread.